There was a sale on the German Amazon and I bought quite some books. Hi everybody and welcome back to my booktube channel, Books with Leo. I've never bought this many books at once in my life ever. Some of these are from the library, but I love doing library hauls, so I thought I'd include them. Some of them are from the thrift store, some of them I bought in the bookstore, and most of them are from the Amazon book sale. So yeah, let's get into it. First up, I bought Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. As most of you guys know, I love Leigh Bardugo. I especially love her Six of Crows series, and yeah, I love Ninth House too. I've already read it and it was really good. I'm planning on making a full review for this, but I'm not sure, so I still have to find like the time somewhere. So if you'd like to see that review, definitely let me know. It's not like I'm actually doing this in order, but anyway. Next, These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling. I love this book. I read it too already. It's about gay witches that have to fight evil together. It's about exes. It's really cool. It's really great. And yeah, that's all I should say about it really. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I've read both of these already in November, but a lot of this pile I haven't read yet. So also, by the way, because there are so many books, I'm trying not to be too elaborate on each book, because I know I'm the kind of person that is too elaborate on everything. So I'm trying to like tone that down, so this video won't take like 40 minutes. This is from the Amazon book sale. I think I only paid like €1 or $1.70 or something for this, so that's crazy. This is Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. I love Roald Dahl and he's my perfect medicine for when I'm in a bit of a reading slump. It makes me feel so nostalgic and like so happy and warm, and like it remembers me of my childhood, so I love reading Roald Dahl. I also love his adult fiction because that has the best dark twists and turns. But this is one of his children's books and it's just a quick read through, so can't wait to get to this one. Next, I bought the prequel novel by Sarah Rees Brannon of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Season of the Witch. So you have the comic series, this is quite nice actually. You have the comic series The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and that's where the TV show on Netflix is based on. And then based off of the TV show came this book, which is kind of sketchy. I'm a huge fan of the TV show. Not that it's like the best thing ever, but I just really enjoy it. And there's quite some like good themes in it actually, like about gender, feminism, so it's a nice show, you know. I love watching it and it just makes me very happy. I love the chilly stuff and the decors and everything. I wasn't planning on reading this and I was definitely not planning on buying it, but then it was €3 and I was like, I love Sabrina, you know. So I'm really hoping this makes me feel the same as the TV show made me feel. A cool thing I noticed when it got in the mail is that it's got like dark pages mixed with regular pages. I'm not sure how I like that, but it's cool at least. I'm curious to see how this turns out. Next on the pile are some books that I bought at the thrift store. I don't know if this is a Dutch book. Oh no. Okay, I don't know how this is called in English, but in Dutch it's De Meisjes by Emma Klein, which is The Girls, I suppose, but I'm not sure if that book is called this as well. And this was a hugely popular book in the Netherlands a couple of years ago, and it was like in every bookstore, and I never got to it, but it's always appealed to me. And it's about two young girls in California in the 70s, and they sort of befriend this girl, and then she sort of lures them into a sort of sect or something like that. Yeah, and I always love reading about sects and weird stuff like that, so I'm really interested to see how this novel goes. So that's this one. Then I found Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan in the thrift store as well, and it was only like €2 and I was like, yes! This book is very shiny. I don't particularly like this cover, but it's fine. I've started this book I think 5 separate times and I always find it super funny, but it's a bit depressing to me, so I find it hard to read, but I'm planning on getting through this time. So yeah. Now there's some library books coming up. This is such an ugly cover, but it's been rebranded and it's also been called Prince Charming instead of Royals now. Maybe I'll put a picture up here. I already read this. It's about a girl whose sister is getting married to the Prince of Scotland, and then she moves to Scotland with him for the wedding and stuff happens. It's very trashy, but great fun and a short read. Then The Cheerleaders by Cara Thomas. I got this at the library as well. This was an okay YA thriller, but it wasn't the best thing I've ever read. I thought the ending was pretty clever, however, so if you like thrillers or whodunits, this is the one to check out. And it's also like sisterly revenge. It's about a girl whose sister died and she's sure it wasn't really suicide, and so she's figuring out who did it. So yeah, some trigger warnings definitely for rape, suicide and abuse. And then after that, I already read this one too. The Female of the Species by Mandy McGuinness, and it's a very similar book, but I didn't know that going in, so that was sort of funny. This whole book is sort of a critique on rape culture, which is very interesting, but at the same time it's also about sisterly revenge, but with a dark twist, because the girl in this book, her sister got murdered and raped, and then she kills the killer that killed her sister, but she does it in a very gruesome way. Super interesting book. It has a lot of great commentary on our society. Yeah. Haven't read this one yet, so that's new. This is Love, Hate and Other Filters by Samira Ahmed. I got Internment, I think that's what the English title is, by Samira Ahmed, said by the publisher. And so I really wanted to try and read some other books of her before I started that book. So that's why I picked this one up. Then The Woman on the Train, or The Girl on the Train, I don't know what the English title is, by Paula Hawkins. I've got no clue what this is about. I think it's about a stalker. I've seen the movie, like half of it, but it was very... I didn't like it. It made me feel down, but a lot of things make me feel down because I can't handle anything. But yeah. Okay, so this book. I found this at the library and I was like, isn't this the most 80s looking book you've ever seen? It looks like Stranger Things. So I saw this and I was like, okay, have to read that now. It's called My Best Friend's Exorcism. And I suppose it's about an exorcism. I'll get back to you on what this book is like. Then I got This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson. I'm reading this at the moment and great. It's like a manual on how to be gay, or when you're dating with your maybe a different sexuality than heterosexual, and yeah, it's a good book. It's really fun, but it also talks about the serious subjects in a very beautiful and respectful way. And it's still fun, so that's really an accomplishment for Juno Dawson, I suppose. Then I have The Twits by Roald Dahl. Same story as with the other Roald Dahl books. Just love having this stuff, and this is really thin. Then of course I got The Stylus Tea by Erin Morgenstern. I was trying to audiobook this, but it turns out I'm shit at listening to audiobooks. Like, I cannot do it. Just can't really do it. It's just not for me, I suppose. Like, when I try to listen to audiobooks, like the first 4 hours are fine, but then whilst I'm listening, like on the bus, whilst cleaning, I just drift off in my mind and I can't keep up with the actual book. So it feels sort of like a haze instead of a story, like I was drunk when reading or something. Even though I was not, I was listening whilst cleaning. I decided to get the actual hard copy because also this book is gorgeous. I love Erin Morgenstern and I love The Night Circus, and I'm already on page 150 or something. I'm enjoying it so much so far, and I can't wait to dive into the actual physical copy instead of the audiobook. And yeah, this copy is just so gorgeous. It's like the library printed inside. It's really pretty. Okay, so on to the next pile. So on top we have My Lady Jane, and this story really, I'm not sure what it's about. I know it's historical. I know it's sort of very similar to The Gentleman's Guide of Vice and Virtue. When I got it in the mail, I discovered it had decollages, and it's also signed by the author. I don't know how that happened, because this is an Amazon copy that was €3, and I heard that this book is really funny, and I love historical fiction, so I'm looking forward to picking this up. Then I bought Ace of Shades and King of Fools by Amanda Foody. I've already read the first book. Well, I've already listened on audiobook to this book, and I think half of this book. This was the only audiobook ever that I could properly get through, so that's great. I tried getting through this one on audiobook, but I couldn't do it, and I loved this book so much. It's one of my favourite things ever, so when I could get the hard copies both for like €8 together, I was like, I'm not doubting this, I'm just going for it. So yeah, I'm super happy to get these. These are very cool books. They're about a girl whose mum goes missing, and then she has to go to this scandalous town and meet this gang master because he might know where her mum is. The magic system is super cool as well. Every person has like 2 talents based on their family, and it's just very cool. You should definitely check this series out. Next up I got Hello Girls by Brittany Cavallero and Emily Henry. I love Brittany Cavallero. She also wrote the, what's it called? The Sherlock Holmes series, which I love so much. And this is supposed to be a Thelma and Louise retelling or something like that. That's really all I know, but I've been curious to read this book since forever, and now I could pick up the hard copy for not a lot of money, so I did it. I think the cover already looks really nice and super 80s. I love the colour scheme, so that bodes for a good start, and I love Brittany Cavallero's writing normally. So I'm ready to dive in. Yeah, so I was going a bit nuts because of this book sale and I wanted to have some more contemporary reads. So I picked up Kings, Queens and Inbetweens by Tatiana Bataille? I don't know how you say that. I've tried in like a Dutch accent and an English one, I just don't know. So this book is about a girl who's in love with her straight girlfriend, and then she discovers drag and she loves drag queens and stuff, and she gets into it more. I think it's a lot about the queer and the LGBTQ scenes. I'm really curious to read a YA book that's more catered to that, so yeah, can't wait to see. I keep saying about each book that I'm really curious, which is like, duh, you wouldn't have bought it otherwise. Then I got City of Ghosts and Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab. These stories, you guys, these are both middle grade books in a series, and you probably all know Victoria Schwab, but she also writes middle grade, and these are books about a girl who can see ghosts, and her best friend is actually a ghost, and he's the sassiest character you've ever read, I guarantee you. And her parents are ghost hunters, but they don't actually believe in ghosts, which makes for a very interesting opposition. I listened to the first book, an audiobook. Also quite enjoy that actually. Maybe some audiobooks work for me and others don't, because a lot of times I drift off. But I like this one. Haven't read the second one yet. I'll get into it soon. And I love that these are so short as well. You fly through them. Almost getting to the end. Next up, about The Bone Gap by Laura Ruby. I don't really know what this is about. So as far as I know, this book is about a girl who goes missing and one of her friends thinks he really knows what happened to her, and it's also about some sort of secret society. I'm not really sure about that last part, but I love the cover because I love bumblebees and it was really cheap. And I wanted to read more thrillers and mysteries, so that's why I picked this one up. Oh my god, the last book! I bought Muse of Nightmares by Leonie Taylor. I don't actually have Strange the Dreamer. I have read it, but I rented it from my library, but I thought I had it. So when I got this in the mail, it was just like, yay, I have it complete. And then I went to my shelves and I was like, oh, I guess I don't. So Strange the Dreamer is a really cool fantasy series, and I don't feel like thoroughly going into it now, but Leonie Taylor just writes so beautifully in such a dense and slow, but in a good way. It's just so wonderfully done. Like the world slowly unfolds itself in front of you. It really brings you into the story, and this cover is just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And the ending of the first book really shocked me to my core. I'm really interested to see where the story goes from there on. So yeah. So those were all the books. Yeah, I really got a lot of books, and I've read 7 books so far in November. Yeah, so those were all the books. I know it was a lot of them, and I'm really grateful I get to buy books every now and then, and I'm really grateful that Amazon had such an amazing sale. And yeah, I'm really grateful to you guys for watching me blabber about books. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, put a thumbs up, and whatever you want to do. Tell me what books you bought. I'm really interested to get some great recommendations from you guys. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye!